Welcome back, everybody. I took a pupil on recently who's had lessons. I think it's from her parents or guardians. I don't think she's had professional tuition, and she's done a lot of research. She's read a lot of books. She's obviously up to speed with some terminology, and she talked about what we know in our industry quite well, which is in a manual car would be MSM PSGL, and that's mirror, signal, maneuver, position, speed, gear, loop. Or sometimes we don't use the maneuver, we just use MSPSGL. In more advanced driving, a different terminology is used, and we'll go out again, which is called ITSCA, which is information, position, speed, gear, and acceleration. Now, they both have their uses, but like in anything I've mentioned previously, they're all situational. Now, the problem I have with the mirror, with this logical sequence, with this mirror, signal, position, speed, gear, loop, that one's not relevant if it's an automatic, of course, is that it misses the first bit, which is namely the identification. So in this case here, if we put at the end of the road here, we're going to turn, for example, right. Put a bit of a pavement in here on both sides. That could be the central line, and then you've got another pavement. Is it misses out the most important aspect, which is the identification or the information. The IPSCA one, information, is probably better suited because you can't really do anything unless you know what you're up against. So identification is crucial. So I'm going to deal with the identification or information part in this short video. So here's our car here. So I'm going to give you some things that you could look for to know where the end of this road is. So the first clue that I find is the one that you'll notice peripherally, which will be the buildings if you've got buildings. So you might have houses here that are faced in this direction as terraced houses, or semi-detached houses in this case, or they could be terraced houses, they could be next to each other. Let's put them in here. And the front doors here, and the windows, and they might have a driveway if you're on this side, and you might have some cars if it's a bigger house, for example, here. And then you might find that on the opposite side that the houses are of course facing in the opposite direction, facing towards you at 90 degrees. So you might have the cars and the drives here, and that's probably the biggest indication that you'll notice that you'll see the end of the road. Another one you might find is, and it's not in all cases because we talk about major to minor or minor to major, and some people think that means the width of the road, but of course that width there could be the same as that. So that's not always a telltale sign. Another one might be that the tarmacs, as you get closer, you notice the tarmac's different, or the gradient of the road is different. The road might drop down where yours lifts up, for example. That can be a telltale. Of course, other two obvious ones could be a road sign. You might have a pentagon stop or an upside down triangle for a giveaway. You've got the road markings, that could be another one. So there's several. Also, as you get closer again, you might notice the curb here. Then you might pick up the curb on this side. So there's various methods. So another one you might find, and it's not always the case unfortunately now, is the way people park the cars. You've got the 10-meter rule. Now I'm not saying they're always adhered to religiously, but you'll find a lot of the time that you might get this situation here. So you'll notice a break in the traffic, or you might see cars that are parked like this. Can be another example. And that's just at the end of the road. So you'll notice this space here. So there's 6 or 7 telltale signs at least there. So that's a first little video about information or identification. And that's just identification of the end of the road. It works lots of different clues, whether it's a roundabout, a mini roundabout, or taking the next road on the left or the next road on the right. So I hope that helps. So identification or information is the first thing to think about before you can do anything. That's relevant if it's risk or roundabout or anything. You need to know what the problem is in order to be able to deal with it. I hope that helps.